Hello, boys. I got a fun one for you today. So I covered a Necro build finally recently, and we're gonna do another one. We're gonna do another one. This absolute monstrosity is an Oath melee Necro. Now, I've had a few of you boys mention it on stream and be like, oh, have you thought about like Oath or like another Necro build? I'm like, yeah, here it is. I've had this shelf for a while and I've dug it up recently. I'm like, you know what, it's good enough, I'll get it out there. So the Oath rune word, 30% chance to cast level 20 Bone Spirit on striking. Alright, so we're going to be using this with the Bone Armor plate, okay? So this gives us Bone Armor when struck to help maintain that uptime of Bone Armor. You may have seen a few people use this in Ubers to help, you know, pretty much stay invulnerable with recasting this before it depletes. You also have 15% chance to cast Bone Spear on striking. So Bone Spear and Bone Spirit, we're both going to max out those synergies. So Bone Spirit is maxed for Bone Spear is maxed for Bone Spirit, and then we have Teeth, Wall, and Prison are maxed out. We have nothing into Bone Armor, only about like 5, which is piss all, and you don't even need that because the armor itself is going to, you know, tick more. And yeah, that has a very decent absorb rate because of the max synergies. That's going to be our build. So to help with our melee focus with this, we have 2-piece Osiris, which is kind of uncommon. That gives us a comfortable attack rating bonus while keeping our rings accessible because we have Metamorph 2. So we don't need those ring slots for Ravenfrost. We have Cannot Be Frozen here, so we can switch into Beast form. This is nothing, don't worry about it. And we'll switch back and we can maintain that Mark of the Beast, so further attack speed for single target, which we need, but also big damage reduction, which helps us. So a lot of survivability with this actually, in conjunction with the redemption on the shield, which is just so fun. So we'll get further into stat, skills, and gear, and then I'll see what you guys think about it. I think it's pretty cool. So stats on this one, we've got strength up to 105. I've got a beast on switch. I'm not really hitting too crazy with this, so you probably don't need to make it in like an elite base like this, but to be honest, why would you make it in anything lower? You want to be able to use it if you waste your high runes on things, but I guess you can technically save stat points in strength if you want to make this in a war axe. But we have a little bit into dexterity, which is not too high. We definitely want to get our attack rating up, so we've got 2-piece Osiris, and we also have Blessed Aim on the Mercenary, so that's quite important, and that gives us, like, I think just over 10,000 attack rating, so I can show you shortly. Everything else is pretty much into Vitality, nothing into Energy, and Resistances are pretty decent, boys. Pretty good, okay? 72, 52, we've got 85 and 90 here because we've got Phoenix to help us increase some maximum res, but this is good. I usually sniff out on my res quite a bit, but it's not too bad. So down here we've got attack rating, we've got a few lifers, which are the different variant there, and then we've got run walk attack rating, and we've got extra sunder there, which we don't really need. That's up to you. And then Torch and Annie. So that helps us get to that point. Skills. Now, we've got 1 into amp damage. That's to help with our single target, so we can kill stuff, and then as soon as we get some more bodies, then we can utilize our Corpse Explosion. So that's a pretty common thing which you'll see on some Necro builds. Over here, into Poison Bone is where the most of your points are going to be. So remember, we've got Spirit, which is going to be cast from Oath, and we've got Spear, which is being cast from our chest armor. So both of those, we've got all the synergies maxed out, and goddamn, they have so many synergies. So many. So it doesn't really leave us much room to mix and match stuff. So we've got an extra base 5 I put into Bone Armor, so when I cast that myself before, you know, the occasion where it doesn't proc again from our armor, I felt that quite helpful. But you can also put extras into Summoning. So if I did respec this, I'd probably put a couple of points down into Revive, so that would leave us like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points just to get, you know, some revives out there for some extra bodies. That does actually help quite a bit. I find them more beneficial for minimal skill point investment than going for Skeleton and Skeletal Mage. If you're going full summons, then definitely I'd recommend these over the revives, just in my experience. So that's what you can do otherwise. Let's get into the gear though, because this is the fun part. So we've got Oath in a Cryptic Sword. So this has Indestructible mod, which is beautiful, so we can chuck that in an Eth base. And Cryptic Sword has a high average damage range, although albeit a small minimum damage on there. So we want something fast, something hard, that we can just slap pretty decently. Not too bad. We do have access to Heart of the Wolverine. We also have access to Iron Golem on here, which is cool. So if we want to utilize the Iron Golem, we can do so, and we can put something like a Hustle in there, you know, and that could function pretty well. We've got Metamorph on the helm, which I've shown, so we can switch Beast on here. There you go. And then we get Mark of the Bear,
Can't do that here.
and we can switch back and maintain the damage reduction. We can also stay in Werebear form, if we'd like, and continue just attacking, because we're not using anything in particular, just our basic attack. So you choose, you know, if you're in an area where you want to cast a bit more amp damage and, you know, reactivate Bone Armor, then definitely do it, but you don't always have to, and you can use Werebear to your advantage with this build, because we are kind of slow and tanky. It's a very nice little bruiser. Now, armor, we've got bone in here, so this helps us get a bunch of all-res, but also the bone armor uptime and the bone spear is very nice. So when we're not paying attention to it, if this skeleton archer is shooting us across the screen, we can proc that bone armor up again, which helps us maintain this. So it'll refresh whatever we have. So currently level 12 is 785, this will be level 10, so it'll be, let's say, for argument's sake, without looking it up, it'll be around 700. So by the time that 700 damage depletes, if we cast another one, it'll be refreshed, which is really cool. So before we end up losing life or anything like that, that's going to help cover us. High Lords, Deadly Strike attack speed, which is needed for our single target. Laying Hands as well, that works itself in. We've got 2 rings here, so one with attack rating, life, and res, just a bit of an example of what we can lock in, and the other one is kind of the same. So attack rating, some lifesteal would be nice, some resistances would be nice. Obviously these are crazy stats, so don't wet yourself, boys. You know what I do. I show you what template gear you can put in these slots that is not necessarily detrimental to the build if we take 1 or 2 out. Now, Metamorph gives us that cannot be frozen, so we have these 2 free to choose as you will. And the belt and the boots is kind of cool. We're using our Hisaris here. So this is going to give us the attack rating we need in conjunction with the Blessed Mercenary to maintain that single target consistency. We've got Phoenix here, so we've got Redemption Aura, we've got minus enemy fire res. If we want to utilize Corpse Explosion, that's going to help us. But when we're in Werebear form, when we switch back here, this is going to help us maintain when we're in Werebear form, because we don't give a shit about any of the corpses that are down there to Corpse Explode, because we can't use that skill when we're in Werebear form. So that's kind of nice to use. But to finish off, I showed you the charms before, so we can skip, and we've got the Mercenary. So Blessed Aim, Fortitude, and Dariel's is +2 on the Blessed Aim, as you know, and I've given him Insight for now, just because when we need to cast Corpse Explosion to clear some areas, we can do that. But really, you can change this up quite a bit on the Mercenary, quite a bit. If you want to change it to like a hustle and give him the attack speed, that's a comfortable option. You can go for something like a Doom if you would like to slow stuff down. It's really up to you. It's something that we're not really too locked in towards, so if you guys have some ideas or you want to see something else there, let me know. But for now, I'm going to keep this on players 3, and we're going to cast up our Clay Golem, our Bone Armor, and then we'll get into some gameplay. So, as you can see, my attack rating is 2,200. Let the Mercenary hopefully proc that soon. There we go. You can't quite see the Bone Spirit, because that'll be cast right in front of us when we're hitting enemies, and it does not pierce. It'll explode straight away. But that's 30% chance, so that's going to deal a decent chunk of damage. So Mercenary got Blessed Aim yet? No, not yet. Let's switch to Werebear. I'm going to get my mark up. I'm going to switch back here. We can stay in werebear form just like this, maintaining 4800. Use our single target. We don't really have to worry too much about our life. But let's switch back, because I want to cast my golem and things up again. There we go. And of course, corpse explosion whenever we'd like to. Nice. It's a pretty fun use of a few different bits of gear. It is obviously slow because you just kind of walk around and you've got your single target, but it is fun to use the oath and seeing those spirits being pumped out. I do enjoy that. Let's go over to Inner Cloister and beat up Bone Ash because I hate him. No one likes Bone Ash. He's terrible. No one supports him in what he believes in. There's the Bone Spirit. Two hits, easy. We can switch into bear and finish these boys. Even though the physical doesn't do much, when we proc our spears or our, bone spirit, that can help finish off some of the mobs. Pretty fun stuff, boys. Pretty fun stuff. Alright, let's go find one more area, something we can do. What do you think would be fun? Let's go somewhere in Act 3. Let's do a little bit of Kuras Bazaar. See if we can find Battlemaid's Arena. I have yet to make a Zeal Necromancer. I've got a few ideas for that. So keep an eye out. Hopefully I'll get one of those out soon. Depends on how the next season is going and things. Is this the run? No, Dishost Fane. It's not. Alright, switch back. As you can see, attack rating is very high with the Hisara set and Blessed Aim. Makes it very consistent. And we can just safely sit here and right in front and smack them with this armor and everything. The damage reduction from Mark of the Bear is very nice. Let's see if there's any elite packs on this bottom side. It might be totally empty. Oh, there's one. That's about it, boys. What should we call this one? The Bone Knight Necromancer? Well, it's the Oath Necromancer. 30% chance to cast Bone Spirit on striking, a fun little option to utilize in your build if you'd like. And do not forget about the Bone Armor as well. A very nice option. You can save more skills into Bone Armor itself, put more into armor, and you can run around with more revives around if you like instead. So yeah, I'll leave it there. See you, boys.